Hey guys, welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be doing a quick overview of WeWeb's new changes. So WeWeb just launched the WeWeb MCP. I was just going to take a look at that. So basically, what's MCP more or less? So MCP is a way for people to connect applications to AI models that their preferred AI models basically. So you would see MCPs for Google, for Docs, for Excel, and all of that. Allows people connect directly to these applications to use them more efficiently, rather than having that sense of disconnect between what you have and what you're trying to tell AI to do. And a few no coaches have been coming up with their own MCPs. We have Design MCP, which is really good by the way. And Zano even lets you create your own MCP for your own database and your functions. So say you have your app and you wanted to um connect your data directly to Cloud Code to know what's going on in your app. Zano allows you to create an MCP for that. But right here we're going to be talking about the WeWeb MCP. So like I said earlier, the MCP is what allows you to connect your applications to your preferred AI model. And there are different types of MCP. And that is what WeWeb is doing with this MCP basically. They are taking away that disconnect between your application and your AI model or whatever you're asking it to. So as a developer like me, I've always had to use AI to, ask questions, create content, write copy, improve design, formulas, write JavaScript code and all of that. But now with the WeWeb MCP, you're basically giving your preferred AI model direct access to your workspace, to your projects, and basically to your app. So it's still in the beta stage. So I wouldn't really advise you connecting directly to a live application you're currently working on. I would advise you to put in a container, a sample app you're working on, and then you can now transfer that into your real application. But regardless, it still needs a little bit of human input. You can prompt all the way, but I think it's a waste and it defeats the purpose of the web because what this is trying to say or what message this is trying to send is that AI and no code is the way forward. So instead of having to prompt your way constantly, you can just prompt once and make your changes and understand what you're doing. So it goes beyond just prompting and not knowing what's going on in your application or how everything is going on. So I'll just be going to a sample of what's been built with the web AI based on the past few hours. So these are a few examples. So first off, I have this settings page. This I literally just got a sample um from Dribbble, and I just posted it into my chat and said, "Hey, you know what? Design this page for me." Whereby you can see actually it did design the page based off the specifications. So I'll be going into previous chats I had right here to show you a few sample of what I gave it from the design. So I just basically copied the image. So there are two ways based off my experience designing things more or less. There are two ways I usually approach designing. I usually use either design.md file or Figma or screenshots. So based on my design experience, I usually just design my stuff in Figma. But if you're a non-design person, you can literally just get a few samples, create a mood board. You can put everything in a folder or in a file and give it a call and say, "This is my mood board for what I'm trying to build." And then you can now take components from each or tell it to create a component style or something for you basically, and you can use that to design whatever you want to do. So this is basically an image, and this is sorry about that. This is the image, and this is Claude's implementation of it in WeWeb. You can see it's very close to it being one on one. If I if I scroll down here, you can see it basically brings everything up. So a few things to note here. It has the way of doing things. For example, these are all um these are all divs basically. This is not an actual input. So ideally you still have to take look at it and still make a few changes on a more personal level. But this was literally one shotted. I just gave it the image, gave it a prompt, and it did the same. It built out the page with almost everything. This isn't a proper MPO. This is a proper drop down. But you can make those changes yourself. You can highlight what you want it to do, and that's a great thing. Instead of having it in code and prompting back to back and taking a lot of time, you can literally just go into the editor like this, yeah, and make your changes. I'm still in preview mode. Sorry about that. I make your changes. Oh no, I just activated the preview mode now. So you can see this are literally just basic divs. Ideally supposed to be an input. This is supposed to be a file upload. But you can literally just tell it, hey, I want you to use this particular component for this, and it's going to create it. Another one I was able to one shot is this inventory dashboard. You can see the sidebar, the designs, and all of that. Same as this conversation app as a sample. Like I said, it has a lot of you know back and forth, a lot of things. It's a lot of changes. It's an improvement you can make with it, but like I said, these are literally one shots, and ideally designing a page like this would take me an hour to get to this level. But me just one shotting it with this, I can easily just go into the page, make the minor design changes I want to make, edit what I want to edit, and move on instead of having to spend over an hour doing that. And I'm just going to do a few sample of how to set it up in Claude. You can do the same thing in Codex, VS Code, whatever you want to use. This is my own chat information from the sample I was using. You can see I just gave it. I also want to implement this page, just create a new UI and call it settings. It will create a page, design it, and give the page a name. Same thing for this quality inspiration. Use page as inspiration. The section that was blurred out. I gave it, a few sample of what it should implement, so it doesn't hallucinate and implement something random. I gave it a sense of what I really wanted from it. So this is what was designed. You can see it's a bit close. It's not 100% close, like I said, but it's still good actually compared to having to start from the scratch or using a random AI. Claude is quite good with their design. So two ways to work with the MCP. There's the design MD method, and then there's the screenshots design like what I just showed you right here. So the design MD is these are design files specifically created for AI models for you to use with your design. So I would say I want to design I want to start a new application and I want to use existing brands, existing companies as my point of reference. You can go down here, you can pick Pinterest, you can pick Recent. I did do a sample with Recent design MD file, and I have a few pages I created, a few authentication pages I created using Recent. In this scenario, I used it for authentication right here. So this is a random signing page I just created using Recent based on the design MD. So the difference is design MD you have to be it's a bit more granular for you. Yeah, if you have a large project in mind, you can use design MD as your base file and then screenshots to move it forward. And then because whatever changes you make or whatever design you're generating works with your design MD file as the main base, and you can move it forward into your design and say, yeah, I want you to implement this design but use my design MD components as the basis for it, more or less. This is the design guideline basically. You can see here the design MD I use recent looks like a developer too. and this was the design MD I used in this scenario where I am going to my previous chat, close this, zoom out. So this is the recent design MD file I uploaded, and you can see it came into WeWeb in this scenario as the same design MD file. So once you have something like this, yeah, you can use it as a basis for creating other things. So we can create another sample right here. I like to use wise in this scenario. We're just gonna go back into WeWeb and create a new um no. We should create a new project, but it doesn't make any difference. I'll just use the same projects I'm using. So ideally, the way to start, yeah, when you go into your new chart, I already have the WeWeb MCP installed. But if you want to install it, the first thing you want to do is come here to where you have this add a connector. You come down to your connector section. You can see I already have my WeWeb connector added. But if you want to, you can just go add a custom connector in the editor right here. The the new section or the new section we have added would give you access to your endpoint basically. So what you really need here is this endpoint right here that says WeWeb API V1 MCP. And what that does is you paste it into this place. Once you paste it, you get an option to connect and authenticate it, and then it opens the WeWeb um it opens the WeWeb authentication page for you to authenticate yourself and then your projects and all of that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to tell it what workspace for someone like me as a developer I have multiple workspaces. That's why I don't want to open my dashboard and preview clients' workspaces. But you tell it the workspace you want to go to and you tell it the page. So I'll say I want to list the projects in and it's going to list all my projects basically in WeWeb. So it's looking for tools, getting my current user. So when you're working with it, you would see stuffs like this, getting user and all of that. So you can see my projects. MCP sample is where I'm currently working in. These are my experiments in WeWeb. I have quite a lot. You can see them right here, and you can see my last edited. So I want to work in WeWeb MCP basically. Sorry, I say sorry a lot. That's quite weird. I don't know why. I'm not. It's really weird. um. So I've been able to pick the projects I want to work in, and instead switch to MCP sample. Ideally, even if you don't pick it, it's gonna ask you a question what project you want to work in. And so for the design system, yeah, I already have a design system in this. I'm not sure if it's smart enough for me to remove it, but you know what? Let's mess around and find out. So you can just this is the website to just get design of this. You can click on this and just say copy, and I can say I want to switch out my design.md file. So I always advise this when working with AI. Don't be um try and narrow down what you really want as much as you can. So don't say I want to build a dashboard page. Find a sample of a dashboard page you want to build and give it to it, and then say I want to build a dashboard page using this as a source of inspiration based off my design system. That would give you a more accurate response or a more accurate generation of what you really want. And then from there you can now go into WeWeb. And that's why I kind of like the WeWeb MCP. You can easily just go into WeWeb also and make changes to your designs, improve your workflow and all of that. So far, from what I've tested, WeWeb MCP only works with WeWeb itself. I'm not sure if you can connect an endpoint to it. I've not tried that point. But Xano also has an MCP. So you can load them side by side, edit your changes in Xano, also edit your changes in WeWeb, and then directly connect your front end and your back end. And this is really good because it saves you a lot of back and forth with AI generation. Trust me, you're gonna have a lot of back and forth. So you want to back whatever statements you're making, whatever prompts you're making with evidence or with concrete guidelines, basically. We're gonna wait for this to search up, see done. The design guideline has been replaced with the wise brand system, and if I come here, you would see the change has been implemented, basically. So I'm coming to my design assets, and you can see why is the global money, blah 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 blah, and those are the changes being made. You can see all of that has been implemented, and so I'll just come in here and say, based off my wise design system, um, a simple. So we're gonna say a simple web money transaction history page, and that is gonna be as good as me taking a proper design from say Dribble instead of it's just hallucinating and creating something you think. So like I'm gonna show you the difference between backing up your claim, backing up your statements with evidence, and just random prompting. It's clicking. So it's saying you can see it's gonna create a page. It has everything it needs with three sections: a nav bar, summary card, hero, and the transaction list. And you can see it's working. It's magic, basically. I'm sure it has created a new page. Transaction history, like you can see right here, and you can see it making its changes. Yeah, that's it. I think it takes up the wise color, the font size, the font weights, and all of that. Basically, it's gonna create a new section. So it added a section. While it's doing that, we're gonna go into Dribble. We're gonna pick up a design. One thing to note: do not just clone people's designs of Dribble. Yeah, they're supposed to be a source of inspiration for you to use, But I think you should always, be um be quite understanding when you copy things. Make your own changes, use it as a source of inspiration. Do not just do a one-on-one clone with people's work. It doesn't appreciate their craft that way. And you're just feeding into yeah and all of that. So make your own changes, make it work for you. Use that as a source of inspiration. I'm just doing this to show you what's possible, basically. And I'm just gonna do is copy the image. I don't need to download it and all of that. Copy it and paste it in here and say I want to do this in particular. So I come in here and this is it, basically. So one shotting is doing quite good, it's all right. And this is what you get. I think it's all right. I think it's okay. It's a way forward. Has the minimal interactions. You can move forward from this. And if you wanted to design this yourself, I think so. I've taken a while to get it to this point, like 30 minutes to an hour also, depending on your skill level. Um, and we've done a sample of working with the design system. You see, it follows it down to the core and based on certain nuances. And I like using this because they have the some of the best design systems set up. You can also install skills and all of that, but that's quite different. And you can see how they have the design system set up based off Google's Google, Verso, and some other practices other people are using around the world. Because AI is always changing, and I think that's the edge it has over no code because AI changes every day. There's a lot of funding and things are moving fast. So, but we know code it takes a while. I think the web MCP should have been out before the web AI, but I understand that it was going to have taken the attention of web AI. Yeah. So, but I think it's a way forward. It's a step forward basically. I also want to implement this page. I also want to create a WeWeb table. So keep in mind, I'm actually putting it in a low level because these are tasks that they they don't need to do too much. Really, you're not doing anything too technical. You're not solving world hunger. Sorry, you're just creating random designs. Um, let's see what we have asked for us. And I think it's going to be very close to it because these are literally one shots based off conversations like that. And it's really good. It's really good. Trust me, especially with Claude. I've not tried out Codex. So far, I'm going to find time out to try out Codex, but this so far, it's really good. I'm also going to try and pair it up with Xano and see the workflow regarding Xano MCP, Web MCP, and building out your idea. So it's creating a new table. Let's go to the page. It's called the trades. Where's my trade page, bro? So I'm still waiting for my trades page. So this is the flow for when you're working with the web backend. This is also my first time working with it, but in this project right here, was pretty easy to install. You create your you install the backend basically, and it moves it also. You can also just install your Superbase as Xano. Superbase also has its own MCP, so you can easily make changes like that. Connect the endpoints to your WeWeb flow, basically. Uh, I need to do all of this. So we're gonna need some time to let this set up. But pending that time, we can just talk about how WeWeb fits into the AI and no code scenario. I think so far WeWeb having the front end, you know, the front end edge makes it really good. I think one thing that will really help it, or one thing that will really move it forward, is mobile dev. I can't talk about how much that would really push way forward mobile development, allowing people to develop mobile apps and deploy mobile apps. I think that should be a main area of focus for them right now. Coupled with the so I'm done. Connecting the backend. It's gonna get the backend status, make the changes, and we're talking about how web fits into the whole AI no code conversation. And for me, it improves the way you work. Basically, it goes beyond prompting to get what you really need done. But yes, you can just prompt once, get to a particular point where you feel like it saved you a significant number of time, a significant um, a significant a, a significant stress. Not stress though, but it saves you a significant. It saved you time. Saved you time. But it saved you time and effort. That was the word I ran out of my head. Significant number. It's significant time and effort, and you're not doing repetitive work of setting up components, doing this and that. You are going straight into exploration and development, and this really helps. It also makes debugging easier. So in areas where you need to understand your flow better and say, I need to get this flow working, I need to get this particular data, it can help you write it, connect the all flows together, and you make it really better for you. So there's certain limitations to it now. It's still in the beta stage. I think you still need a little bit of experience regarding prompting. You still need to make a few manual changes, and it's best to be used as an assistant, not on autopilot, because you have to see what's going on. Now, currently, I can see it's having issues getting the table. Yeah, let's try to ignore the table. It's ignored the table already. It's not creating the pages. So it's creating the pages and it's ignored the table. You can do a lot of back and forth regarding that, and connect it yourself. Like I said, it's not something that should be put on autopilot and you just want to drop it and go ahead doing anything you want to do. You want to be in it and you want to understand what's going on in your application. Still, I don't think you should deploy it into a live application with real users and it's earning for you or it's solving a particular problem for you. Um, it's great, really. I think it's a good starting point. It's a great way forward with uh, the OA and no code conversation. Uh, I think with this and mobile development, I think web takes the top. And with these changes, you don't need to wait for web to push an update to the AI or anything else because you are now moving on par with whatever AI model you are using. So Table 5 comes out tomorrow. You have access to it and you have access to using it in WeWeb. So it understands web's context better and you can also train it based off your own particular documentation. So based off my own particular experiences, I can tell you how to approach building pages, working with inputs, working with workflows, and understanding things better. I could use it to create workflows, create formulas. That's going to be really really heavy because I used to have back and forth this disconnect regarding creating formula. Instead of me and writing the code, I just asked to go to ChatGPT, say this is what I want, and in the back and forth, it solves all of that. Also with design, having to design certain pages constantly. My logic for avoiding constant redevelopment is components or custom components. But with this, you can create it, have it as a file somewhere saved, and in a new project, just load it up and recreate it for a client based of their specific need. So this really solves all of that. Now we're going to take a look at our trades page. So this is the design right here that we're using. You can see the design, and based off our design.md file, it's it's working towards implementing it based off the design file. You can see the header, the cards, and the list basically. So traits table created with 12 sample rows. Create a table view. I have to come down to WeWeb to create my view for my table basically. So I'm going to come to my data and API. I have my trades. It's loaded in. You can see I didn't load all this in basically, and that's really good because I could connect my Zano MCP to this and say, hey, I want you to do this internal. Come in here, just create the endpoint and but just connect the endpoint rather and you're good to go. So I'm going to create a new view for this basically in here, create a view, view one. So if you want to create a view and you want to connect it to your phone, you can run your search, your filter, or whatever, your pagination in this place. But I don't need all that, so I'm just good to go with my new view. I should probably rename it. No, I don't want to create two. I should rename it to my my test money, my test stocks. I don't have these stocks. I didn't buy any stock. I should buy some stocks. Uh, so we have our layout. We want to repeat items. No, my bad, my bad, my bad. Turn it off. Want to repeat on the repeat wrapper. You can see this and pick up this, and you have your table views right here. You have your data. I don't want to pull everything in. I don't have a proper table. I'll just pull this in. I don't know if it did generate proper image links. Uh, let's see what we have in our record. So I think it did logo color, and we're going to go down to the background right here to connect the color to something. So the logo color and the letter being connected. The title, the ticker, basically. As an economic student, you shouldn't call it title. That's the this my professor is not going to be happy with that. Professor is not going to be happy with the fact that I called the ticker a title. Um, what do we put here? The company, the order type. This would actually need to be twice, so you can do buy and sell. Don't ever do it one. Don't ever use one and use text to differentiate it. It's not really the best way to approach it. So quantity, the price, and etc. And if you preview it, it's quite similar to what we have right here in the design, basically. And that's the thing, basically. You give it a design, you give your design MD, and you work with your preferred design MD. You can also feed your design MD to AI and say, "This is my primary colors. This is my brand color. This is my logo. On my buttons to copy this style," and it's going to make all those changes for you. And as long as you're going, in your projects, it's learning more about it. That's the great thing. All of this is context for it to look at and learn from, your conversation and all of that. And it doesn't take much AI spent. That's another thing I've noticed. So you can use your normal daily use AI, and it's gonna be good, really. I think so far the best response I've gotten is from Claude, and I think it's a great way forward for WeWeb. It's really good. To be honest, it's really good, and it saves a lot of time and a lot of effort regarding doing stuffs, the most basic stuffs. But I think it still has a long way to go, compared to other tools out there. But it's really good, and I think with the if you're finishing touches, it's gonna be at the top right there. And I know that's what Web is trying to do as a team. So that's it for this video. Like and please subscribe to my YouTube video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. My channel, not my video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, please. Have a great morning.